All right, so this is a look at lesson 14, the end of unit 2 that was presented on Tuesday, October 13th. In our opening, in the previous lesson, you completed the end of unit assessment in which you compared and contrasted a scene from the film version of The Lightning Thief with the same scene in the novel. You will have one more opportunity to revise your work in this lesson as you incorporate peer feedback. Daily learning target. I can provide kind, specific, and helpful feedback to peers. I can use feedback to revise my essay. So today's lesson is all about the opportunity to work with a peer to get feedback before submitting that final essay. We also had a language dive on transitions. Not my favorite, so it was not submitted. You just followed along as I went through it. But it's focusing on this statement: the settings of the novel and movie, while not exactly the same, are quite similar. So we went through this language dive together as a class. First, they gave us these sentence frames here to complete boxes with two things that are similar but not exactly the same. So we came up with candy and chocolate, while not exactly the same, are similar because they both are sugary treats. Then they wanted us to play with the phrase while not exactly the same, that transition. So we have while not exactly the same, the setting of the novel and movie are quite similar. And then if we reverse the order, the settings of the novel and movie are quite similar, while not exactly the same. And then at the very end, we had to compare two things that are narrative elements of the novel and movie. And so we used the movie version of Medusa and the novel version of Medusa, while not exactly the same, are quite similar. So that's the whole language dive, hence the reason I didn't love it. All right, moving on. So that was the language dive note catcher there that I just went through. All right, so the bulk of our time today was focusing on this peer critique and review, which if you were not in class, you missed out on the opportunity to work with a peer to spend time reading somebody else's work, identifying what was done well, areas for improvements, and then using that information to make revisions to your own essay before finally submitting it to me here at the assignment end of unit 2 assessment final submission. So this is where your copy of the compare contrast essay from yesterday's lesson, lessons 12, 13, where you then constructed the entire essay on this page. It will be submitted to this assignment. And then after you have done that, we are moving on with Unit 3, Lesson 1 tomorrow, beginning with Chapter 19.